Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And this is my first impressions look on the Adidas Dame Certified 3. So this is Damian Lillard's budget shoe, right? And it retails for 85 bucks, which is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? If I remember correctly, the original Dame Certified and Dame Certified 2 were 100 bucks. So shout out to Damian Lillard and Adidas for making the shoe cheaper for the people. You know what I mean? Like Adidas is, making their shoes cheaper while everyone else is increasing their prices. So I definitely do appreciate that. I mean, 85 bucks is absolutely insane. And also, the Dame 9 is only 120 bucks, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, signature athletes, when their signature shoe line kind of evolves and after like their 5th, 6th, or 7th signature shoe, they tend to add a lot more tech and make the price obviously more expensive. But Damian Lillard has been true to his fans and have kept his shoes on a cheaper side of things. So yeah, shout out to Damian Lillard for that. That's dope, right? But yeah, if you look at the overall design, it looks very similar to the Dame 9, right? Which I think is pretty dang cool as well, right? So I have this white colorway. There's also a black colorway with the gum rubber, which I think looks a little bit better. I don't know why I got the triple white, but yeah, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave in the free link in the description box for both of these shoes. And if you do choose to get either of these shoes, it does help me out if you buy it through the free link in the description box, or I try to leave a link right over here or the product pictures underneath this video. And also, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the socks that I've been wearing. So it is my brand. It's called Younghone, and Younghone is Korean, right? And I am Korean, of course, and it means soul, right? So it's the soul and also obviously the soul drop. But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to release some socks. They are available for pre-order, and it is going to take a little bit if you order it right now because it is a pre-order. But as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. Shirts and shorts will be available soon as well, and we are doing a very limited run for the socks right now. We actually worked on it for a pretty long time, like almost 6 months, because I was working on a lot of samples and seeing what I liked and trying to get the best quality material for the best price. But anyways, enough about that. Let's get it started off with the traction. So in this colorway, we have a full-on white rubber outsole, and the traction pattern is very similar to the Dame 9, right? We have this kind of like it's basically just a line, but almost looks like a lightning bolt a little bit, right? But of course we have this flex groove here in the Dame 9, but in the Dame Certified 3s, it's just pretty much full on the entire traction pattern, right? But it reminds me a lot of the Dame 8, actually, I believe it was, right? With this inner part, and then around it we have like a herringbone, you know? But either way, how does the traction feel? The traction feels pretty trash. It does not feel that good. Just trying it on my wood floors, it doesn't have that good of a bite. And also seems to be picking up a lot of dust. I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but can you guys see all the dust and dirt on there? Yeah, I gotta clean my floors again. But yeah, it's sticking there as well, like right over here. I don't know, hopefully it's coming out on camera, but yeah, so the bite is not seeming that good. That kind of sucks because, you know, the Dame 9, right when I first got it, it felt really, really nice. Of course, hopefully once I break it in, playing it, it gets better, but right now for my first impressions, it's not feeling that good. And also there's no squeak. You know, there's a little bit of a squeak actually, just a tiny bit, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but if you're a hooper that likes to have a very loud squeak, this shoe does not have it right now. Again, like, you know, once I break it in, maybe it might squeak more, but we'll have to see on that. And also for durability, it doesn't seem like the best either. I mean, it doesn't seem terrible, but the rubber is actually kind of pliable, right? It moves a little bit. It doesn't feel like a super hard rubber. So I guess the grooves are very deep though. So it doesn't feel terrible, but it also doesn't feel great for outdoor use. So yeah, the traction, not feeling too good so far, right? And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it feels pretty smooth. However, the upper right now is feeling really stiff, right? So here in the heel, we have a nice rounded shape, and also the bounce midsole is pretty much fully exposed here in the heel, allowing for nice compression. So it feels really nice and smooth here in the heel, right? And then coming here to the forefoot, we have a nice little curve shape, you know, so that feels nice. It has a nice rocking motion because of the rocker shape here in the forefoot as well. And also we have a good amount of forefoot flex, but I do have to put a good amount of flex into it. It's more of like a stiffer feeling shoe, especially here in the midfoot as well, like the overall sole, and also for the upper, right? Because, you know, the upper if it's stiff, it doesn't help bend the forefoot either. So yeah, it feels a lot stiffer for the flex, which of course is not a bad thing. It's just a different feel. For example, comparing it to, I don't know, a shoe that has like very minimal support like the Tandem 3, that shoe is really flexible. This one, it's a lot more like kind of stiff feeling. So there's the heel to toe transition there. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So they are using full length bounce, which is different from the Dame 9, which is using full length light strike, right? And the bad thing about bounce is that bounce is extremely high density and extremely heavy. So we'll see in weight, but this shoe feels really, really heavy. You know what I mean? So however, the overall cushioning set reminds me a little bit of the Dame 8, which I don't like. You know what I mean? So yeah, it just feels really high up off the ground here in the heel. The forefoot gets a little bit lower, but still not the best record feel for this shoe. I mean, here in the heel, we do have a good amount of compression though, so that feels nice, right? It feels like it'll have good impact protection even on hard heel strikes, because, you know, it is a really thick bounce midsole as well. The step-in comfort, however, is pretty trash, right? So first of all, the insole, not that nice. It's just a regular Ortholite insole, which is weird because usually Adidas gives us that really thin insole. You know what I mean? Like found in like the Hardens, the Donny shoes, and also I believe the Dame 9, right? But this one has a little bit of foam to it, but also underneath that, we have a really freaking stiff strobe, right? So bounce, like if you feel it from the midsole here, it's really soft. There's a good amount of compression, even when you're pressing it only with your finger, right? But then pressing it here, it feels like there's something there, you know, like something like a plastic piece, or maybe they glued it down like crazy, but it does not feel soft, right? So step-in comfort and underfoot cushion does not feel that nice, which, I mean, it makes sense because they made the foam so thick. You know what I mean? So I feel like if they gave us like a soft mesh strobe board or something, it would be too thick, and then your foot would just dig into that and would feel really like mushy, you know? So it makes sense that they did that, but another way you can do it is make the foam thinner and then have better step-in comfort, in my personal opinion. You know, I would have liked that better, but for this setup, it just feels really stiff right underneath your foot, and then there's a lot of compression for the actual foam, which you might like, but honestly for me, I don't really like it as much for that type of setup, you know what I mean? But for 85 bucks, I mean, full length bounce is pretty nice, you know what I mean? So there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper, so the upper is so freaking stiff. I do like how they kept the overall design pretty similar right here in the toe box, right? You can see these two parts, so that is pretty cool, right? I like how they kept it like it's like a baby version, like a little brother from the Dame 9, which I do like in terms of design. However, I mean, for $85, you can't really complain. Like the quality is pretty bad, you know, you know what I mean? It's like a really crappy synthetic material here in the toe box, and also for all of these materials as well. But yeah, it's so stiff, guys. Look at this. It barely budges. It's just a really stiff and also really thick feeling upper. It feels cumbersome here in the toe box. We'll have to see on how it breaks. It'll probably break in kind of nicely, but I don't like the thickness. You know what I mean? It does feel pretty dang bulky here in the toe box. It's very supportive, however, you know, because it just does not give at all. There's no give. It doesn't conform to your foot that well either. Here in the midfoot, it actually gets a little bit softer because of the textile. I mean, we do have more kind of like synthetic materials, right? For, I guess, like there's like 3 stripes, very similar to the Dame 9, but it's still like stiff. And then for the tongue, however, there's no padding. Why? You know, if you're gonna add this much thickness, why not just add padding to the tongue so it feels nice and cozy on top of your foot? In my personal opinion, I think that would have been better. But also, it's an independent tongue, which I hate. You know what I mean? Like, I just, like, in this day and age, why? Pretty much most modern shoes have a half booty construction tongue, meaning the tongue is attached to a material that goes underneath this upper and also attaches pretty much to the forefoot, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And it also keeps the tongue in place. But also another thing that I really don't like about this independent tongue is that when I put it on, it kind of like scrunches in like this, right? And then I put it on and I have to like fix it, that's just annoying, you know? So yeah, I mean, for 85 bucks, I guess they were trying to cut corners. I don't know, but I don't like that too much. And then here in the ankle area, we actually have a decent amount of padding. I would say a little bit more than average here on the sides and also here in the Achilles, which does feel nice. But yeah, not a huge fan of the upper. And also we have this kind of like really thin kind of plastic material. I don't think that adds too much. There seems to be an internal TPU heel kind of that adds a little bit more support here in the heel. But anyways, yeah, not a huge fan of the material. And now moving on to the fit. The fit is really nice for me, and the fit fits a lot better to me than the Dame 9. The Dame 9 actually ran a little bit long for me, even though I went true to size. Here in the certified 3s, I went true to size, and length is actually really good for me. Here in the toe box, it's extremely snug, and there is no forgiveness to it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, shoes that have a little bit more forgiveness, like the Tatum 3, where it's just the material is a little bit stretchier, it's a lot softer. This one, yeah, there's no give. It's not gonna stretch out or anything. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, whatever fit you get right now is probably the fit that it's gonna stay with. But yeah, it's not super snug or anything. It's just a nice snug fit here in the toe box for me, at least. And then for the width, I would say it's around normal width for me. So overall, fit is actually pretty dang nice. I like the fit, you know. And most people, you should be fine going true to size, unless you have like a wider foot, then probably go up half a size. But you should be fine going true to size for most people, right? Now moving on to the support and lockdown. Yeah, support and lockdown is gonna be a strong suit in the shoe. So the upper feels extremely freaking supportive, and also lateral containment. We can see you know, the rubber coming up acting in the sidewall. We also have the 3 stripes logo. This upper, like I keep saying, is super freaking supportive, and there's an internal TPU heel counter, as well as the foam coming up acting in the sidewall a little bit. So lateral containment is extremely good, it feels like, right? Like your foot is not going to come out of the footbed. Also, lateral stability feels really good, right? We have a very wide base. It does have an outrigger. You can see that it's pretty dang sharp. It does provide a wider base, so lateral stability feels good. However, I am experiencing a little bit of heel slippage, right? It does not feel the best for heel lockdown, and that probably has to do with the stiffer sole and stiffer material here in the toe box, right? So if the shoe was a lot more flexible, I wouldn't have as much heel slippage, but because it's so stiff here, it's resisting my foot's movement, and I am experiencing a little bit of heel slippage. Of course, they could have added a little bit more padding, maybe even like an Achilles pad to make the lockdown better. But right now it doesn't feel good, right? Hopefully, you know, once the shoe breaks in and probably gets a little bit softer and more flexible here in the forefoot, I won't experience it as much. But right now, for my first impressions, the heel slippage is kind of bad, you know? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe. Yeah, this shoe feels freaking heavy, freaking bulky, and also like pretty bottom heavy. So I'm guessing like 14 ounces, 14.05 ounces. Oh my goodness, guys. 14.1 ounces. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces, so that's freaking heavy. The Dame 9 is actually kind of lighter, like 13.8 ounces, but still freaking heavy. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, I feel like Adidas, for their weight, it's not their priority. They don't really care about giving us a lighter shoe. Like the only light shoe in their basketball shoe lineup is the Donny shoe. You know, the Hardens are heavy. These are heavy. The AE ones are heavy. So yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm not a huge fan of how that feels. You know what I mean? Like it just, the overall upper feels super thick and also stiff. The overall sole of the shoe feels really stiff. And you feel pretty high up off the ground, and it feels heavy, you know? So we'll have to see on how this shoe breaks in, but right now I'm not liking how it feels too much. And as far as the aesthetics go, I feel like it looks pretty good. You know, it's not my favorite design, but I do like how it is going for like a similar design to the Dame 9. You know, I think that's pretty cool. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, not a huge fan, you know what I mean? Because the Dame Certified, the first one was one of my favorite hoop shoes. Like a really, really nice, super supportive, but also very responsive hoop shoe. That wasn't super heavy, that wasn't super bulky either. Dame Certified 2 is the same outsole and midsole, so I don't really want to review it, but it seemed pretty good. But here they changed it up like crazy and made the shoe just like way different, you know what I mean? And I guess like maybe Damian Lillard just likes like really thick and plush feeling shoes, you know what I mean? Because if you look at most of his shoes, that's what most of his shoes feel like. Besides, I guess like the Dame 4 and Dame 6, you know what I mean? But all of his other shoes have a lot of padding, thick and stiff upper, really thick cushion, you know? So I'm guessing that's just what Dame likes, but for me, not a huge fan. But again, that's just my first impressions of this shoe. We'll have to see on how it breaks in. Does it get better and stuff like that? Or we'll have to wait for the full performance review. But right now, it's it's So anyways, that about concludes my first impressions look on the Dame Certified 3. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try leaving the feeling in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.